All right, and the winners of the Oscar Science Awards are... All right, we are back, everyone.
Hello.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
First video of the season, always late to the party, but we are here to give our very early 2027 Oscar predictions.
And we've actually given this a lot of thought, and you're also going to be revealing today something kind of cool, which is the 2026 Oscar Science Awards.
Yes. People have been waiting for those results, and I apologize.
Again, late.
Yeah, I'll announce that halfway through, but first, let's talk about this next Oscars. And I have to commend everyone, by the way, for being ready to jump into the new year so quickly. Some people were talking about Oscar predictions for next year back in January. You all are insane people, but I love it. It's not me. I definitely always need to take a mini break before turning the new page. And also I have to work, I don't have money. And before we dive in, I think it would be a great time to discuss last year's very early Oscar predictions to see how right and how wrong we were. All right, so last year, back in March, 6 months before One Battle After Another came out, they said we were crazy, but we had One Battle After Another at number 1. So we did predict the Best Picture winner, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know how we did that.
Even broken clocks are right twice a day.
True. We only actually got 5 of the eventual Best Picture nominees, so don't be too proud of us.
Yeah.
It's not too bad, I guess, but still. I love what's at 10 and 11, though. We have Eddington at 10 and Hamnet at 11. Right. But in my defense, if I had already read Hamnet by, early on when we did these predictions, I think I would have known it was in, but I just hadn't read it yet, so I had no idea.
But an Ari Aster film, that might have been too wild of a wild card.
Predictions gone wild.
Yeah.
That's just in my head because of Arrested Development.
Predictions with low self-esteem. The big one we did miss, and really the majority of people really missed in March, was Sinners, which caught pretty much everyone by surprise. Secret Agent, we missed that one as well. Train Dreams, which we did have ranked at number 19, and F1 at number 20. All in all, I don't think it was terrible, but this year we want to get it right again with Best Picture. We want to get our One Battle After Another. So in our 10, we have some safe picks. We have some that we think are higher than what some people are currently predicting in their predictions. But yeah, I think let's just jump right in. And the one thing we really wanted to look at this year was distributors.
Yeah, the reason why is because you can have a strong movie with strong reviews and previous awards, but if you don't have a major distributor, I feel like we've realized, or at least I've been realizing, it's an uphill battle to be nominated.
Right.
One of those films was the Sundance Jury and Audience Award winner, Josephine. It's being distributed by Sumerian Pictures.
Very tiny indie distributor. I think it's been around for only a year. No Oscar history, of course. Yeah. The Best Picture nominees are typically a healthy mix of mostly, I would say, major distributors and player in the game. I think it's very rare for a single distributor to get 3 Best Picture nominees. Neon
last year is a great example. Neon had an incredible year, but only got 2 slots.
Yes, only got 2 slots. We bring this up because we really wanted our 10 to reflect that healthy mix of distributors. You actually did some homework, by the way.
Yeah, I think you're starting to possibly rub off on me with your stat love. I was really curious which distributors are currently thriving and which ones are struggling to get nominations. I tracked the last 8 years, actually, on pen and paper.
If you want to know how old we are, we don't use laptops.
I still use pen and paper.
We're old.
We were basically wanted to see the amount of Best Picture nominations that each distributor was managing to get in each year in the last decade.
Yeah, what'd you find?
Well, from my count, I had Netflix in the lead with 12 nominations, Warner Brothers at 11, Focus Features at 10, Searchlight Pictures at 9, then A24 at 8, and in 5th place was a tie between Neon, Universal, and 20th Century at 6. But if you just look at the last 5 years, the rankings have actually changed. WB is right there with Netflix at the top. Focus Features right underneath, and now in 4th, Neon is starting to become a larger player and is tied with Searchlight Pictures. And A24 has fallen behind. With all of this in mind, let's reveal what we have at number 1.
All right, this is our predicted winner then. So what do we got at number 1?
So this is our number 1, and we decided that WB is going to keep the creative train going and the momentum going. I guess we're kind of taking a chance by putting this number 1. I don't know. You know more than I do. But we went with Alejandro Iñárritu's Digger. Film chiefs of WB like Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi have unrolled this new strategy of giving rather sizable budgets to auteur filmmakers. So sure, you know, while you get your Color Purple or your Joker Folie à Deux, you also get, you know, One Battle After Another and Sinners and Barbie.
Right. And if you're just looking at Iñárritu's track record, it's rather strong. He won Best Director twice in a row, right? He almost won Best Picture twice in a row. His most recent film was Bardo. We remember Bardo. It didn't quite make a large impact on the Academy, but every single film that he's ever directed has shown up at the Oscars somewhere. And his larger American-driven films like Babel or Birdman or The Revenant, all wildly popular at the Oscars, all Best Picture nominees.
Yeah, we just feel like this has a lot of things going for it. I think there's a hunger to see Tom Cruise do some challenging work again. And at CinemaCon, footage was shown of Cruise playing, quote, an aging oil tycoon with gray hair, wrinkles, a big paunch belly, a firebrand foghorn leghorn accent, and no patience for the cataclysmic environmental event that his project has caused.
Yeah, this is being described as a satirical dark comedy. There's been comparisons to this film to being like Doctor Strangelove. I've heard rumors from a person that saw a test screening, and you can expect this film is going to be a little divisive. I saw early reports on test screenings saying it's, quote, overly stuffed and chaotic, and it's impossible not to be fascinated. It's a mess in the best possible way. But to be honest, I remember getting very mixed reactions from the test screenings from One Battle, who called the film polarizing and very chaotic. So there's some similar adjectives I feel like that are being used to describe this film. Sometimes chaotic and crazy could just be original and inventive.
Yeah, we really can't take too much stock in test screenings because we don't know that that's actually the final result.
Yeah.
We have pretty much the same writing team from Birdman, so I think we can expect this to be a little closer to Birdman, which, by the way, won the Oscar. Emmanuel Lubezki, who has won Oscars each time he has DP'd for Iñárritu, he's behind the camera again. And the film is going to be shot on a 35 millimeter, right?
Yeah, using VistaVision again.
Yeah, $125 million budget.
In many ways, this almost aligns a little too close to One Battle After Another. I mean, can really WB win twice with a similar type of daring movie? But I think there is a big desire within the industry to see big original films on the big screen. And I think the Academy loves to reward large risk. And here we have a large artistic vision with a risk-taking performance from Tom Cruise, who is also known for putting butts in the theater seats. I could see this movie maybe not make back its budget, right? It's going to be an expensive movie. It's going to be like One Battle again, where it doesn't maybe make all of its money back.
But I think Tom Cruise will pull in more people than Leo.
Yes, but also Tom Cruise's audience will be like, what the hell is this?
But hey, they already paid for their ticket.
But for cinema goers, I think this is going to be a must-watch experience and further solidified WB's brand as, you know, being like a risk taker.
Also, there's a great cast. Jesse Plemons, Sandra Hüller, I don't know.
She's already having a great year so far.
Yeah,
roles.
Riz Ahmed and John Goodman, who I think he plays like the president in the film, and he's rumored to like be a really great like standout in the film.
Yes, I've heard that too, and I'm just really excited for this film. I think the Academy also likes to pick winners where art and entertainment meets in the middle. I know I say that all the time, but I think this movie kind of fits that bill. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be challenging. It's also about environmental issues, I assume, and the current insanity of our political climate. So yeah, maybe it could be Don't Look Up, but I think it's gonna be better. So putting Digger number 1.
Number 1, baby. All right, number 2, and this is of course a more of an obvious pick. This is where we have The Odyssey, directed by Christopher Nolan. We are all about track records, of course, and though Nolan isn't always a guarantee for Best Picture nominations, when he does some kind of historical drama like Dunkirk or Oppenheimer, I mean, both of those did really well. 3 of his films have made it to Best Picture.
Well, a new trailer just dropped. So what do we know about this film?
This is obviously based off of Homer's ancient Greek epic, The Odyssey and the Iliad. Matt Damon plays Odysseus, the king of Ithaca. Nolan is said to have drawn inspiration from the works of animator and special effects artist Ray Harryhausen. The cast is absolutely stacked. You have Tom Holland playing Odysseus' son. You have Anne Hathaway playing his wife, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Charlize Theron, Mia Goth, Benny Safdie, Elliot Page. The list goes on.
John Leguizamo was in the trailer quite a bit.
Yeah, the list goes on. I will say, though, having so many A-listers does kind of worry me.
Yeah. You know, the new trailer worried you. And a lot of people online. I didn't really see the big deal.
Yeah, I think sometimes with these like historical pieces, it takes like very specific actors who have, you know, like historical features. Does that kind of make sense? Or like they're able to do a historical dialect being thrown
just
off.
Distracting, be like, that's Spider-Man, that's
Yeah,
Catwoman.
I think I'm just maybe just getting thrown off as like, I see Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I feel like it kind of breaks the illusion of really fully buying into that historical world. But I'm hoping I'm wrong, because I'm really looking forward to this. I love the Odyssey and the Iliad, and I don't know, I really love these types of like epic historical drama, so I'm really looking forward to it.
The Odyssey is going to be the first blockbuster shot entirely on IMAX cameras, apparently, filmed all around the world using real practical environments instead of the use of green screen. They showed a thrilling sequence of the Trojan horse scene at CinemaCon. I mean, we obviously don't need to sell you on whether this is going to be a spectacle, because it's Nolan, right? He knows how to think big, and also those early ticket sales, right?
Yeah, so I mean, those sold out a year before the film's release, so we know there's a ton of people excited for this. Nolan's films, they do make hundreds of millions of dollars. It's very possible that this is going to surpass Oppenheimer. But beyond that, it's really the fact that it's grounded in this famous piece of historical literature, making this more suitable, I think, for the Oscars. We could see Nolan very much win again, but this will be way more action heavy, obviously, than Oppenheimer. So there's that as well.
But same editor as Oppenheimer, same cinematographer though as Oppenheimer. Both won Oscars. We have Ludwig Göransson, who also won the score for Oppenheimer and last year's Sinners. I mean, it would have to be kind of like a Joker Folie à Deux level disappointment to not be nominated for Best Picture. Tom Holland saw the film himself and called it a masterpiece.
But he's in it, though.
Well, yeah, he's in it.
He is in it.
He would say that. It's being released in July, just like Oppenheimer. So it just feels like a very easy call.
Yeah, even if it doesn't end up being like as good as people are hoping, a nomination in Best Picture feels really safe.
Yeah, I think in this spot last year we had Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. So
Yeah.
It's like, this is that spot for us.
Yes. So we have our Warner Brothers pick and we have a Universal pick. Side note, in the last 10 years, Universal has only had 6 Best Picture nominees and hasn't hit twice in a single year. So that sort of fills our Universal slot.
Yeah.
For now. Let's stick with our trend of directors with proven track records. At number 3, that's where we have Wild Horse 9.
Yes, this is Martin McDonagh, who is on fire lately. One of my personal favorites from this decade, The Banshees of Inisherin. He also got very close with 3 Billboards. The question is, will this be a return to his early work of like 7 Psychopaths and In Bruges, not so much Oscar contenders? I've heard someone who saw an early screening of the film and said tonally it fits somewhere between 3 Billboards and A Real Pain, believe it or not, which is an interesting comparison. I've also read rumors that this is very much a film that feels like a blend of all of his work to date. So Yvette, what do we know about this film?
Well, similar to In Bruges and Banshees, we have another duo at the center. It takes place in 1973 before the Chilean coup. It is described as a black comedy. We have a trailer and it looks really fun.
Yeah. It's rumored that John Malkovich is definitely the highlight, and he's looking pretty good for a nomination, I would say. I've heard the duo at the center of the film shares the screen time pretty equally, but it does seem like Malkovich is running in lead and Rockwell in supporting. Steve Buscemi is also noted as being also a highlight in the film, a bit of a scene stealer. We actually almost put this first.
No, we didn't.
We almost did.
No, we didn't.
I almost did.
But just based on vibes from the trailer, the fact that there's already an official trailer just in general, something tells me that if they had a Best Picture winner on their hands, they would likely release like one little teaser at a time, kind of like Digger's doing. We still have 7 months from, until their release date, November 6th, which is positioned well for awards, I will say. Likely, this will follow, I think, the path of Banshees and premiere at Venice, do you think?
And then go to TIFF.
And then go to TIFF,
probably.
yeah.
But that being said, we have the same cinematographer and editor from Banshees of Inisherin. We have the same composer. And also, it's also being released by Fox Searchlight, which we don't have.
Yeah, Fox Searchlight actually kind of struggled getting a Best Picture nominee last year. But prior to last year, Fox Searchlight got into the Best Picture category the 8 previous years. They average out to basically 1 a year, so this can fulfill our Fox Searchlight picture for now.
Okay, so then coming in then at number 4, this feels like another safe pick, but again, we gotta favor the track record, which is why we had to go with Dune Part 3. And there's been a lot of chatter about whether this could be a Wicked for Good repeat or whether this could be a Return of the King type of film. Apparently the film is not part of the Dune book, but this is based off of Dune Messiah, which was written after the first Dune book. This story follows Paul Atreides as he faces the fallout of his ascent to power as political plots and a galaxy-wide holy war endanger the future only he can see. So they showed some footage at CinemaCon and apparently has a very intense and epic opening scene, which Next Best Picture described as Villeneuve's version of the Saving Private Ryan Omaha Beach sequence, which sounds interesting.
From my understanding, this book is not as acclaimed and revered as the Dune book. There were early rumors that Denis Villeneuve would depart from the book, but also I've read that it's going to be a faithful adaptation, so I don't know. But does it really matter? Villeneuve's last 5 films have been nominated somewhere at the Oscars. 3 of them were nominated for Best Picture, which of course includes the last 2 Dune movies.
Yeah. Will this be Wicked for Good, where fatigue has finally set in, or will this be Return of the King, a film that the Academy wants to award Best Picture kind of for the accomplishment of all 3 of them? Personally, I think the answer is closer to being exactly what Dune 2 was, a film that picks up some text, gets a Best Picture nomination. So that's what I think.
I think the main difference was Dune Part 2 was released in March. Dune Part 3 is being released in December. So while Dune 2 had to sustain almost an entire year, Dune 3 only has to sustain a few months. It'll be fresh in the voters' minds.
Yeah, I think that's a huge advantage, big advantage there. The first one was released in October, so this one it will be even closer to Oscar voting. I believe all the Lord of the Rings films were released in December as well. And Zimmer's doing the score. We have the same editor, we have the same cinematographer. No, actually, we have a different cinematographer. Greg Fraser is not returning. We have Linus Sangrin this time behind the camera. We also have a new co-writer, and we have the same cast taking out Butler, putting in Robert Pattinson. So ultimately, I think everyone is aware that this is the final chapter for Villeneuve. I know Chalamet had a very rough campaign last year, but that should be small potatoes by the time that this film comes out. This film has never really been an actor movie, never been nominated for kind of like the casting or the SAG Ensemble Award. It's very much a tech movie. I think the biggest challenge for Dune is really just the fact that Nolan's Odyssey exists this year.
Yeah, it's Zimmer adjacent, I guess. They're likely going to be very similar movies and drawing in the same type of crowd or same type of voter. If you look at the first 2 Dune movies, they have the advantage of being really the only massive action-driven dramas.
Yeah.
This year we have potentially 3 of them with The Odyssey and Project Hail Mary.
Yes.
And Dune.
But at the end of the day, Villeneuve is no John Chu. He's much more consistent. So I don't know. For me, I think it feels safe.
Yeah, we have no reason to doubt it at this point. I mean, if we can take a chance on Avatar, we can take a chance on this.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. All right, so number 5. Now, the process of doing this list has been a little bit of a negotiation as well. I wanted Project Hail Mary higher, probably right here. Yvette wanted to play the long haul. So we're going to stick in another movie in this slot. And how about a neon movie? We're going to go with Christian Monju's Fjord.
Well, we have to have a Cannes pick in our lineup. You have to go back to the pandemic year to find a lineup without a Cannes film. By the way, speaking of Cannes, this is going to be Brian's first year going to Cannes. Woo, 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 party, celebration.
Yes, I'm really excited. I've never been to Cannes. I've never even been out of the continent. I've never been to Europe. Ever.
Me neither.
And then this year's lineup looks really incredible. And unfortunately, you have to work. You have to hold down the fort, be the breadwinner while I'm gone. I'll watch double the movies for you. But when looking through this year's program and trying to sort out like what is our sentimental value, the one that has been really popping up in a lot of people's predictions, and I tried to look at other options to see if there's anything that looked more promising. And to be honest, Fjord really does kind of fit the bill really nicely. It's got Renate Reinsve, it's got a bald Sebastian Stan, both recently nominated. Not a bald Sebastian Stan, but Sebastian Stan. Yvette, why don't you tell them a little bit about it?
Okay, so this is about an immigrant Romanian family living in Norway who become friends with their neighbors. That is until the neighbors make an accusation against them regarding child abuse, causing them to be the center of scrutiny. It sounds like it's going to be tackling some really thought-provoking ideas within this very scandalous story, a story that is actually based on a real-life story. So
one quote I read is that the film will raise the difficult question of where does personal freedom end and society's demand for conformity begin? Whatever that means.
I'm getting very like Anatomy of the Fall vibes.
Yeah.
Or what was that movie called, the Danish one that we watched, The Hunt?
The Hunt. Yes, The Hunt.
That sounds almost
Thomas Vinterberg.
exactly like this.
Yes. Those are very much those vibes. It's also in multiple languages, including English, which is definitely been a benefit for films like Sentimental Value and Anatomy of a Fall. And the director of this film is someone who has won the Palme d'Or before with 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. His films are often really well received. Also, this is one where Neon jumped on as a distributor really quickly. Filming started March of last year, and then Neon came in May and already jumped on to board as a distributor, which I think is a good sign.
Even if this doesn't win the Palme, it could still win the Grand Prix, like Sentimental Value did, and still make it in, right?
Yes. The number one thing that matters is it needs to be the best reviewed, one of the best reviewed films from Cannes. It needs to win something. It needs to have a lot of buzz, and then it needs to do the rounds of festivals to keep the buzz going. And of course, having recognizable names attached never hurts when it comes to the Oscars. That's why this one just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we're assuming that at least 2 Neon Cannes films will end up being nominated, but trying to predict, it was just an accident or the secret agent of this year can be very difficult. So unfortunately, the Cannes lineup has just so many contenders, but this is our best guess as of now. We'll have a better idea probably after Ryan comes back from Cannes.
So what do we got at number 6, Yvette?
So for the last 10 years, Netflix has been the leader for most Best Picture nominees. Last year, they had 2, and we currently don't have any Netflix prediction.
Yeah, we gotta look at Netflix's slate and see what we should pick.
What is coming up? So right now the 2 contenders are The Adventures of Cliff Booth and Narnia, the Magician's Nephew. Both have giant talent behind it, but both also feel like there's something missing.
Yeah, both have very sizable budgets, $200 million. One is directed by David Fincher, written by Quentin Tarantino. Like, what the freak? And the other one is written and directed by Greta Gerwig. The hesitation is really the content itself, right? One is kind of been there, done that, and the other one feels a little too kiddie. But apparently we don't even need to stress about it too much because Narnia is not coming out this year. We just got word it's being pushed to, I think, February of next year.
Which is a real bummer because I really was starting to feel confident in picking that film, Narnia.
I made you read the book because of it.
Yes. Well, reread it. I read it as a child. I was a big fan. And then I reread a few of the books because I was so excited for this coming out. And then we started doing a little research and we heard some tidbits about how Greta Gerwig seems to be leaning into making the animals feel very practical, using puppets and real animals and using dancers and stop motion. And that sounded really exciting.
I think that was our major fear. When we thought about Narnia, we were like, let's not put it in because animals in Oscar movies, it's always going to be a little corny to do talking animals.
There's
right?
a lot of talking animals in the book.
Yes. But yeah, and then I remember we talked to each other and we're like, if she was able to make it very practical, like the Never-Ending Story. Remember we saw that when we were a kid? Like big giant puppets. Maybe it could set itself apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have to worry about it. Narnia was at number 6. We took it out.
And we had to bump up our number 7 film to our number 6 slot. And this is where things get a little sticky. You may be expecting us to go for Project Hail Mary here, but like Ryan said, it was a little bit of a compromise between us. So we're actually going with a film that isn't in anyone's best picture lineup, probably, at least from what I've seen. However, we do have faith in this film. We are going with Joel Coen's Jack of Spades.
Yeah.
We don't know hardly anything about this movie yet, except that it's a gothic mystery that takes place in the 1800s Scotland. It stars Josh O'Connor, Frances McDormand. Ultimately, I think we just have faith in Coen.
Yeah, sadly, we are in an era where brothers are splitting ways. We had the Farrellys, the Safdies, and the Coens. The Farrelly brothers split. Peter made Green Book. Bobby made some bad movies. Safdie split. Benny made The Smash Machine, and then Josh made Marty Supreme, and then the Coen brothers split. And Ethan made Drive Away Dolls and Honey Don't, and Joel made The Tragedy Macbeth, which we liked a lot.
Yeah. It could also be that we're a little biased because we do vibe with his films.
Yes. There's a very stark difference in the style that these two brothers direct individually. And even though it's widely known that the Coen brothers were a duo back in the day that used to split essentially all the tasks, I believe due to DGA rules, only one was listed in each of the film's credits as the director. And do you want to know which Coen brother that was?
Joel.
Prior to Lady Killers, Joel was actually the only one credited as the director. And based on the type of work that they've done individually, it feels like Ethan was always more kind of like that offbeat comedy guy, and Joel's style is much more precise and controlled. And though Tragedy Macbeth didn't get that Best Picture nomination, you know, it's a black and white Shakespearean movie. Arguably, it was very close to being nominated. Jack of Spades is in color. It's an original screenplay.
And it's historical. It's like a period piece.
Yes, exactly.
And it's involving a murder. I think this is going to be closer to No Country for Old Men over like Inside Llewyn Davis. It's shot by the same DP as Tragedy of Macbeth, which we all know looked incredible. He's been nominated 6 times and has never won, so he could be due for something. The music is by the composer Carter Burwell, who has done a lot of Coen Brothers films. Look, there's undoubtedly so much we don't know about this film, but I think the way we structured this list is that we don't want to rank films in order of who's most likely to be nominated for Best Picture. We want to rank them also mostly in order of how strong of a contender we think they will be in the end.
Right. And the main thing, too, is also looking at films like Nosferatu. Like, Robert Eggers is not your typical Oscar-friendly director, but still managed 4 nominations because Eggers' stock is finally rising. But it really is that undeniable craft on display in Nosferatu, that potential to be nominated in all these below-the-line categories. Jack of Spades has that potential to get nominated in like score, cinematography, costumes, and production design, in addition to the above-the-line category. So this could be a big one.
Yeah, it was speculated to go to Cannes, but I think it's not in the program, right? So it's not in the program for that. So we'll see what happens. No release date, but it is expected to come out this year, and there's still also no distributor, so... Yeah,
obviously not having a distributor is not great, but films like The Zone of Interest, Train Dreams, and Emilia Perez, I don't think they found a distributor until it premiered at the film festival. And personally, not going to Cannes, I don't think is that concerning. Tragedy of Macbeth premiered at New York Film Festival. So I think we could easily see a premiere there or at Berlin. If I were to guess, based on nothing, I think later in the year, I think we're going to see this get picked up by, say, like A24 or Focus Features, and then premiere in a very similar way to Marty Supreme, where they just kind of like blitz the Oscar race at the last hour at New York Film Festival. Distributor or no distributor, in Coen we trust. So Jack of Spades.
Maybe Netflix will buy it.
Or Netflix. That would be a good one. All right, so Project Hail Mary has waited long enough. She let me put it at number 7. So number 7.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm sure many are betting on Project Hail Mary to be a big contender. And I think it very much will be, but there is a lot of time still, and I'm worried about that. We are like 10 months away until the next Oscar season, so we don't really know what's to come.
Also, we agreed that we couldn't see Project Hail Mary receive a Best director nomination, which kind of automatically makes it more of a bottom 5 contender. And again, with The Odyssey and Dune, there are frankly just too many big budget Hollywood films in the mix. It feels like one is bound to kind of drop off. But Project Hail Mary does have a lot going for it. Currently, it's got over $500 million at the box office worldwide. It has an A cinema score. It has broad appeal, a lot of broad appeal, and is a film that nearly everyone could enjoy. Lots of prospects for tech nominations, and then we also have Ryan Gosling in the mix. He's even in consideration for Best Actor, and that was not the case for Brad Pitt. No one was talking about Brad Pitt for F1 and Best Actor.
I do feel like there's a chance for this to make it through the whole season. When was The Martian released?
That was October. That was an October release.
Okay, that's not great. When was F1 or like Top Gun Maverick?
F1 late June and Top Gun Maverick late May. Okay. And Sinners was released in April.
So also not great. This isn't as good as Sinners, is it?
No. Definitely not.
We'll
but
see.
A lot of people are really liking this one. Like I'm saying 4 star. I mean, I give it a 4 out of 5 star.
Okay.
Like it's definitely the best, like almost like the best reviewed movie of the year so far.
I looked more at the track records, and Phil Lord and Chris Miller, they have never been nominated for the Oscars, so that's another thing that's
yeah,
kind
they
of...
were famously snubbed for Lego Movie. I just feel like if F1 can do it, I have no reason to doubt that Project Hail Mary at this point is it's going to be able to do it. But this was a film I wanted to put a little higher, and you said, do you think we really think it could be a top 5 contender? I said no, so then you said, well, let's place the movie more realistically to where we think it will be, not where it is now. And I agree. I think it's going to be in that 7 to 10, so let's just put in the 7 to 10. It's going to probably be like the F1 slot.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think that's fair. Okay, so now we are down to number 8. I feel like right now we have really big blockbusters or like Cannes movies, but we need kind of like a mid-size Oscar film. We're missing our like Complete Unknown, our Begonia. So at number 8, we are going to go with The Social Reckoning. Yes, this is a spiritual sequel to The Social Network. You know, those unfair comparisons are definitely the film's biggest challenge.
It's also by Sony Pictures.
Yes, only 2 Sony Pictures films, not including Sony Pictures Classics, only 2 Sony Pictures films have gotten into Best Picture in the last 10 years. So that's a challenge.
I Want to Dance with Somebody, Saturday Night, The Woman King, all Sony Pictures contenders, all fumbled. Social Reckoning is, of course, a companion piece to Social Network. There's a lot of mystery surrounding the film. It was reported that Sorkin only wanted to do the sequel if Fincher would return. Then Eisenberg said he was interested in 2020. For reasons not given, though, Fincher isn't directing. So Eisenberg then passed on reprising that role of playing Mark Zuckerberg, but claims it was completely unrelated to how brilliant this movie will be. We'll see. But the story does sound pretty interesting, though.
Yeah, the film takes place 17 years after the original film and follows a young Facebook engineer and whistleblower, Frances Haugen, played by Mikey Madison, and Wall Street Journal reporter Jeff Horowitz, played by Jeremy Allen White.
So what's unclear is whether the vision will try to match Fincher's visual aesthetic, which I think would be a very big mistake. I think it's probably the smartest to create a whole new style, make it very clear that this is not a sequel. And we have the same DP from Social Network, who also shot Being the Ricardos. Alexander Desplat is going to be doing the score. And in addition to the cast, we have Wunmi Mosaku and Bill Burr, which I would have thought they would have been in the same sentence, but they're both in the movie. And I think Bill Burr plays like a crisis counselor.
I feel like everyone was interested in a sequel, but then Fincher chose not to participate, and then everyone got cold feet.
It does feel that way.
So we aren't entirely confident in this film. I myself really didn't care for Being the Ricardos. Yeah. Out of the 3 films he directed, only one of them received a Best Picture nomination. However, they have all been nominated somewhere at the Academy. Being the Ricardos got 3 acting nominations, so that was, I think, pretty close to getting in.
It was right on the cusp. Yeah, and that's really why I think we have this film in there. Actors love Aaron Sorkin dialogue, and the pairing of Sorkin with Jeremy Strong, I think just sounds like a really good match. That being said, Next Best Picture reported on the trailer being shown at CinemaCon, saying Strong's performance is certainly a major departure from Jesse Eisenberg's take on Zuckerberg. It feels like a Saturday Night Live impersonation more than a real human. Very tense and short. Yeah.
Red flag.
So there are some flags here. I have no expectations that this is going to be as good as Social Network. No way. And I have zero faith that anyone could really separate the two films in their heads as its own thing. I hope people do. But I do think that this could be a very like cool, like All the President's Men like corporate thriller with some above the line prospects.
I feel like Jeremy Strong is the epitome of like hit or miss. He's either really, really great or like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then Jeremy Allen White has never been really our thing really either. Like, we watched The Bear.
We just don't get it.
Yeah, we just don't get it. Again, we write on paper.
This is how old we are.
This is what, so of course we don't understand Jeremy Allen White yet.
Now, Mark Zuckerberg, tell me, how do you even begin to play Mark Zuckerberg?
I'm approaching it the way I approach everything else, with empathy, with objectivity, with care.
What made you want to do the role?
I'm utterly fascinated by the material. It's one of the great scripts I've ever read. I've made 2 films with Aaron. I mean, I like to put my feet to the fire.
Will you reach out to Mark?
No comment.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like, Jeremy Strong needs a good director. And I'm not sure Sorkin is the dude to get the best out of performers. But I do think that in the context of the entire film, I think his performance will probably make more sense than a 3-minute clip. And Strong and Madison doing Sorkin dialogue, I mean, that sounds good. I just want to see that. Yvette, what do we have at number 9?
Well, we have swapped this out a few times already. We currently do not have a Focus Features film. Currently, their slate includes Robert Edgar's Werewolf, Paul Greengrass's Uprising, and a Sense and Sensibility adaptation. We weren't incredibly inspired by throwing one of those in there quite yet, so we're going with a film that isn't a trustworthy distributor, but one that I believe is on the upswing, and it's directed by a previously nominated director. So we went with Fatherland.
This is directed by Pavel Pawlikowski, who was previously nominated for Cold War. The story takes place in the midst of the Cold War. Exiled German novelist Thomas Mann embarks on a road trip. So sounds part road trip movie, part elegant period biography. For reference, Thomas Mann is a prominent anti-fascist and a Nobel Prize winner. So it's interesting. Sandra Hüller plays his daughter. So Hüller's could very easily find herself in 3 Best Picture contenders with Project Hail Mary and Digger in this.
She's also in Rose.
Yes.
So she does have a lot. How does she have so much time on her hands?
The one obstacle really is based on Pawlikowski's style, which is very much like elevated taste, maybe not like widely loved across all branches. However, I think will have a passionate corner of the Academy, similar to like Nickel Boys or Drive My Car or how I'm Still Here got in. I think being in black and white also adds another challenge with being a broadly like supported film, which is why we have Fjord ahead of it. Pawlikowski is also someone who hasn't won the Palme d'Or yet, but has won Best Director before at Cannes, so this could be a potential winner at Cannes. And again, he's a previous Best Picture nominee. Clearly, they like the guy. His other film, Ida, won Best International Film. Or is it Ida? Ida. So if we have to go with a Cannes contender, I think picking one with an already built-in track record and history with the Academy seems kind of smart.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, since Narnia was bumped out, Ryan and I had to negotiate for that last slot.
And this is, I'm going to be honest, this is the one we're taking a chance on.
Yes. And, here's my reasoning. Since Greta Gerwig was our choice for our like female-directed, female filmmaker spot in our Best Picture nominee list, we decided to go with another female-directed film.
And it's not Sense and Sensibility
which
either.
Would probably be the smarter choice.
Since we don't have a Focus Features film, especially.
Yes, we are taking a chance here, and we're going with Olivia Wilde's The Invite.
Yeah, so we were really bouncing between 2 films specifically for this last spot. However, The Invite is just, it's a really great movie.
It really is.
We saw it at Sundance. It's just so blisteringly funny. It's incredibly well acted. The film might be too contained to make the best film lineup. We understand that, but I wouldn't entirely underestimate it, I would say.
It does have some obstacles, sure. It's modern day. It's very talky. I could see this taking a familiar path to Sorry Baby, which was also a really great film. There's not really a precedent for a Best Picture like this.
No. There's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Got 13 nominations.
Well, when was that?
1966.
Oh, see what I mean?
Well, I'm just saying there's no precedent for movies until it becomes so. There's no trans cartel movie until Amelia Perez cleared the path and made it happen.
That's true.
Also, The Substance, I mean, who thought that was possible?
That's true.
That kind of like opened the door for anything goes. So,
true.
I mean, could you see The Invite get all 4 acting nominations?
I could see Best Supporting Actress and Screenplay for sure. I think it's so good. Maybe Best Supporting Actor?
I personally think that The Invite could be like this year's being The Ricardos, which I know didn't get in, but it was on the cusp. And I think The Invite, like you said, is so much better than that.
It's so much more fun.
Ultimately, it's just a good film for adults. It reminds me of some of the kind of like Woody Allen films that used to be nominated, like Hannah and Her Sisters or Vicky Cristina Barcelona. It's got sharp writing, great characters, strong performances. It's a film that I know is not going to get a lot of nominations. However, screenplay, casting, several acting nominations on the table.
Train Dreams picked up, what, Screenplay?
Cinematography, song, and Best Picture.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
That was a smaller movie.
it's got only 4. I think most likely is like screenplay, casting, Cruise, Norton, maybe Wild. And that's 5 right there. So I think the actors in particular would appreciate this film the most, which is the biggest branch of the Academy. And I think this could do well at SAG. I think we could see maybe a SAG ensemble, probably not. Also, it currently has a 4.1 on Letterboxd, right? Anora and Bugonia has a 3.8. And I'm sure once released and The Invite will start to drop closer to 3.8. However, I do think this is a movie that is going to have its fans.
I think so too. It's really fun. Currently, we don't even have an A24 pick, so that sort of fills that spot for us too. So, take it for what it is.
Yeah. Now, we don't have a Netflix. That's the biggest
That's a big problem.
But yeah, again, nothing was jumping out at us. Maybe Netflix, like you said, could buy Jack of Spades and then we'll be like set completely.
All right, so those are our Oscar predictions. We are going to now go over the list that we have right below that, and we're going to rip through other options on the table and talk about contenders that we don't have a lot of faith in. Oh, wait, but quickly, let's take a break because Ryan wanted to announce the winners of the Oscar Science Award.
Yes. So I do have the results. I conducted the voting for the Oscar Science Award at the very last minute this year, and I didn't get many participants as last year. We did get a few hundred, but it's because I posted it a little later. I didn't get as many participants. So I'm sorry I've been slow on announcing this, but I did want to announce the winners for those who did vote. And Yvette, why don't you try to guess? Maybe you'll try to guess the winners as we go through this. I think that'd be a fun little thing we do.
What a fun little story.
What a fun little story we just told.
That's a wonderful little story you told.
So starting with Best International Film, don't peek.
I'll look this way.
The Academy went with A Sentimental Value, right? But what about the Oscar science community? Do you think they went with Secret Agent, or it was just an accident, or do you think they went with Sentimental Value?
Secret Agent.
Well, with a whopping 47.6% of the vote, the winner was Sentimental Value.
Wow, still Sentimental Value, huh?
Yeah, you don't have to look all the way over there. I trust you.
Okay.
47.6% of the vote,
Wow.
Sentimental Value. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to move on to Best Director. What do you about Director? Did we go for Coogler or did we go for PTA?
PTA.
Well, with over 60% of the vote, we went with Paul Thomas Anderson. Coogler was in second with 25.7% of the vote. Joachim Trier, the winner of the International, only with 2.6% of the vote. That's kind of odd. But let's move over to Best Supporting Actor. What do you think? What do you think? We have, remember, Sean Penn, Stellan Skarsgård. We have Jacob Elordi.
I think
Or did we go for Delroy Lindo?
Sean Penn still.
Well, Sean Penn would be my clear pick, and Penn does prevail with 37% of the vote. Stellan Skarsgård, though, did really well, right on his heels with 29% of the vote.
Awesome.
So let's
I would do really good at predicting Oscar science.
Yeah, you've been predicting almost all of them.
Okay.
Let's go on to Best Supporting Actress. What do you think? Did they go Madigan, Taylor, Wumni Masaku?
Madigan.
You think so?
I think still Madigan.
Yes, we did. We awarded Madigan with 39.5% of the vote. Try to predict, though, who's in second. Woomney, Tiana Taylor, who do you think's in second? Or do you think it was the Sentimental Value girls?
I think it was Woomney.
It was actually Inga Ibsdottir
Wow.
Elias. Yes.
Weird.
I have a smart audience.
I wonder if she was second to win
Oh, maybe.
the Oscars.
Acting categories and then Best Picture. What do you think the Oscar science community went for Best Actor?
I think they still went with Michael B. Jordan.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, Mikey B came in second with almost 18% of the vote. Coming in first, though, Timothée Chalamet.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And Marty Supreme. You forgot the internet.
I forgot the internet.
Loves Marty Supreme.
Yes.
And loves Chalamet.
Chalamet.
With over double of the vote of Michael B. Jordan, 41%.
I forgot.
Honestly, I don't hate it.
Hey, somebody's got an award in my guess.
But now you won an Oscar Science Award, buddy.
Call us. We'll mail it to you.
Yeah, there's no trophy. All right, so Best Actress. I guess I should have saved the best for last. But Best Actress, what do you think? It was Buckley?
Buckley.
Yeah, Buckley won with 52.6% of the vote. And Rose Byrne came in with 28.2%. So shout out to the Kate Hudson fans out there, picking up about 2% of that vote.
Wow.
So now we're moving on to the big category. Who do you think wins Best Picture? We have one battle after another. We have Sinners. We have Sentimental Value. We have
Drum
Hamnet.
roll, please.
What do you think? I want your prediction.
Okay, I think my prediction is Sinners.
Well, I'm going to take you through the whole thing of what happened because remember, this is a process of redistribution of votes. All right, so win outright, you need 50% of the vote. Coming in with 34% first place votes was one battle after another. Sinners came in round one with 26%. And out of nearly 400 votes, only one vote went to F1, by the way. God bless you. God bless you out there. F1, though, is eliminated. And then coming in second to last place was Frankenstein. So it was right out the door next with only 9 votes. Then after redistributing those votes, it caused a tie in last place between Begonia and Train Dreams. So we had to eliminate the film with the lower placements on the other ballots, which was Begonia. So Begonia was third out. After redistributing those votes, Train Dreams gained nothing from that, and it was the next film eliminated. And with that, One Battle is in the lead with 148 to Sinners of 111. And then Secret Agent basically was next out the door. So then Secret Agent redistributed gives us these numbers. Still a way to go to hit the magic number of 193. So Hamnet and Sentimental Value are now tied in last place, but Hamnet had more first place votes, so Sentimental is eliminated. Off the Sentimental Value votes, the majority were actually given to One Battle, which means we now eliminate Hamnet. I thought the majority of Hamnet votes would go to Sinners, but no, it's still One Battle after another. And now we have to eliminate Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme got in third place here. So they're going to decide who wins Best Picture, the Marty Supreme ballots. So knowing that now, do you think the winner is Sinners or One Battle after another?
I didn't actually look at your thing yet, so I really don't know. And I think it's Sinners. I think I'm going to stick to Sinners.
Okay, she's sticking with Sinners. Well, One Battle After Another gained 41 votes compared to Sinners 22. So that means One Battle does win.
Wow, still on.
221 to 158.
Okay.
So Yvette, why don't you use your awards voice and read off the winners of the 2026 Oscar Science Awards.
International Film, Sentimental Value. Paul Thomas Anderson, Sean Penn, Amy Madigan, Timothée Chalamet, Jessie Buckley, and the winner for Best Film, One Battle After Another.
Well, there you have it. Pretty good winners. And if you filled out a ballot, I really do appreciate it. Next year, I'll try to get the ball rolling a little earlier and do kind of a full presentation. I think it's just a lot of work, honestly, to be honest. To run this alongside the industry ballot, it just becomes a little too much. But let's get back to our early 2027 Oscar predictions.
Okay, so now we're just going to rip through the other contenders. We aren't going to talk about these films in great detail because there are other amazing videos out there like Oscar Expert, who has done a really great job already talking about these films. So let's just talk about the remaining contenders on our list, distributor by distributor, since that seems to be the theme of the day. Right. And we'll throw some of these films
kind of in our 11 to 15 spots.
Yeah.
So let's start with Netflix. So the currently titled The Adventures of Cliff Booth. Every year, there's always one pick that's obvious. We had Hamnet at number 11. Maybe Cliff Booth may be that very obvious pick. I mean, Quentin Tarantino script, Academy Award winning cinematographer Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross composing. The talent is all there clearly, but yeah, I don't know. The trailer really did throw me off.
Yeah, there's this grindhouse aesthetic, and if the movie is in the same style as the trailer, I don't know, I have a hard time believing that the Academy is gonna go for it.
Yeah, the Academy does like Fincher, but it's definitely more when it's in his dramatic films. His crime films like Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, or The Killer just don't click. They just don't clock with the Academy. But I do think the film is going to be a blast. I think it's going to be fun. $200 million budget.
So how much of that went to Quentin?
I think 20. I mean, Gray Man also was a $200 million budget, and it wasn't an awards play at all. So I think for Netflix, maybe they see this as a potential awards play, but if it's not, it's okay because it works also as a commercial play. And I just see this more in line with The Killer if I had to pick.
Okay, so then we have Saturn Return, and this is from the team of Train Dreams, from Sing Sing, Greg Quadar, Clint Bentley. It's a Chicago love story that follows two college sweethearts over a decade as they navigate the complexities of adulthood and fate tests their youthful dreams.
This one has David Lowery's cinematographer on board, Charles Melton and Rachel Brosnahan star, and with Bentley and Quadar's track record, this typically would be something I would have zero qualms putting in the lineup. But I've heard rumors of the film in early screenings that it just was not good. Can't really verify that, but it's all very much hearsay at this point. Outside chance, maybe this ends up being kind of like a Past Lives, but could very easily be a Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey or We Live in Time. Because I think it's romantic comedy, right? Or romantic drama. So I don't know. I'm just not feeling this story.
And the only other Netflix contender is Possible Love from the director of Burning. This sounds a little similar to this year's The Invite. Four strangers cross paths, leading to complex emotional entanglements that challenge their existing relationships. This one isn't going to Cannes, though, right?
Right. It's being distributed by Netflix. That forces Lee Che-dong, who basically premiered his films at Cannes to this point, to now premiere at the fall festivals. And I think we learned from last year, with No Other Choice, just how difficult it is for an international film to emerge without that Cannes premiere. So I'm sure this will be a good movie, but likely faces that kind of uphill battle no matter how good it is.
Ben Affleck has a new thriller coming out on Netflix called Animals. Typically we'd say, consider that, but nothing screams Oscar potential with the story and the talent involved.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it feels very much more like just an action film. So out of these, Cliff Booth and Saturn Returns looks possible, would you say? You want to add those to the list and we'll just adjust as we go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's also one other project by Netflix that I thought looked interesting. I think worth mentioning. Lena Dunham is not everyone's favorite person, but she has made a romantic comedy called Good Sex. It stars Natalie Portman as a woman who enters the dating scene after being in a very long relationship and then starts dating two different men, one in his 50s and one in his 20s. So I bring it up only because the project, before filming started, reached, I think, a $55 million bidding war to acquire the distribution rights for this film. Same cinematographer as Frances Ha and Lady Bird. It's being more angled, seems like, as a romantic comedy, not an Oscar film. But Dunham's last film, Catherine Called Birdie, I mean, that was pretty close to being kind of a Gerwig-y kind of film. It will likely just be a commercial play, but I think it's worth putting on the other contenders list at the very least, because I think that's one that no one's talking about that I think maybe could be something.
Okay, let's talk about Warner Brothers. We already have two WB options with Digger and Dune Part 2. However, I think the film that both of us are kind of looking forward to, probably the most,
Out of all the WB movies,
yes,
probably,
is The End of Oak Street. We both liked It Follows a lot, and we love the underrated Under the Silver Lake. The End of Oak Street can surprise, who knows? It's being described as containing the Spielberg wonder from Jurassic Park and E.T., which is totally exciting to us.
I think the trailer looks really amazing. Right now, I'm definitely getting kind of like the Weapons vibe with this one. I think it can be a rather solid box office success. I think maybe in the vein of like A Quiet Place. I think this is where we can see this, like maybe like get a nomination in sound editing or visual effects. So yeah, I mean, I kind of think this one looks kind of cool. Where do you want to put it?
I think We could have like 90s kids bias though, because it's like the movies we grew up with, you know?
Yeah.
Personally, I would have wanted it above Cliff Booth, but I think there's going to be a lot of like Hollywood insider stuff in Cliff Booth.
Right.
So maybe it should go under.
Okay. All right, so speaking about Spielberg, by the way, let's talk about Universal's remaining contenders. We do have a Spielberg film here, and we kept it off our list. We have Disclosure Day. This is another big budget film. I just think the other big budget films kind of just spoke to us more. But Spielberg also has a very great track record with the Academy, but his popcorn flicks, you know, you say you're Ready Player One, or what was the one called? The Big F***ing Giant or whatever.
I did not see that, but it was Big Friendly Giant, wasn't it?
Friendly Giant. I haven't seen it. Or like Minority Report, right? I think that only got a sound nomination, and that film was amazing. So that being said, John Williams is doing the score. Spielberg is doing a UFO film, which is very much in his wheelhouse. The script is by David Cope, which, you know, he's a great writer, but I don't think he's an incredibly precious writer, but he was the writer of Jurassic Park. It's shot by Janusz Kaminski, who has been nominated 7 times by the Academy, 6 times for Spielberg films. I mean, this could be one we're totally underrating.
I'm honestly really excited for this movie. I saw the trailer before I even knew it was Spielberg, and it totally like captivated my attention. I do think this is going to be good at the very least. If it gets in, it will likely bump out another big budget film like Dune or Project Hail Mary. It's Spielberg at the end of the day. I think we should maybe put it below Cliff Booth.
Like right below Cliff Booth?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what should we do with Universal's Michael? Should we put it at number 1? Did we make a mistake? Should we put it at number 1? Dang it.
So tempting.
Honestly, we didn't really believe in Michael in last year's predictions.
Even since last year.
Yeah, and the studio tried pulling kind of a wicked for good strategy. It withheld the movie reviews from going to critics and just letting influencers see it to kind of boost up the buzz. We finally saw Michael. We weren't fans of it.
A lot of people are, though. It's doing great. It's doing so well.
I'm hearing a lot of people make the case for Michael on Twitter because it made so much money. Like, box office is just one element. Super Mario Brothers made over like $1 billion and didn't make a dent at the Oscars. I think the musical biopics have officially kind of started hitting that fatigue. And I don't think we need to even place Michael on the list, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll go ahead and just leave it off. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Focus Features. So we currently have 0 Focus Features films on the list. Last year they got 2, so we got to be overlooking one of them.
Yeah, well, we have Werewolf and Sense and Sensibility. Both are obvious contenders, but neither of them were strong enough, in our opinion, to put in our lineup. Werewolf has a lot of the same team from Nosferatu returning. We have the same editor and cinematographer, Lily Rose Depp, Willem Dafoe. Yeah. Nosferatu is likely probably number 12-ish, 13, you think?
Yeah, in the Best Picture lineup of that year? Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this one definitely looks appealing. Robert Eggers co-wrote with Schoen, who he wrote Northman with, which we loved.
Yeah, that was a good one. It was originally planned to be shot in black and white, and footage was shown at CinemaCon, described as being very brutal and very dark. I think we can expect some sequences to still be in black and white.
I feel like if Edgar's got that same Academy attention for this film and then made Nosferatu, I would have put Nosferatu in my lineup.
Yeah, there's not a built-in history also with like werewolf movies and the Academy, like except makeup category. That's the only category it pretty much has ever gotten into. But yeah, this is being released on Christmas, and it does have Focus Features behind it. This could be our Begonia this year.
Yeah, I think we should put it again after Cliff Booth. What do you say? But before Disclosure Day.
After Cliff Booth, but before Disclosure Day. Okay, that sounds good. What about Sense and Sensibility?
Oh, okay. So we don't really believe in Sense and Sensibility too much right now, only because...
Yeah, I mean, we heard rumors of test screenings that went incredibly well. So this is being test screened really well. It's got an October 16th release. So it's in that kind of awards timeline, release timeline, that's pretty good. I was tempted, but I did read Next Best Picture's report on the trailer being shown at CinemaCon saying it's shot well and looks sweeping and romantic as it should, though the trailer didn't seem to be offering much new after Ang Lee's beloved version of the story. And that's really the main thing.
I'm sure it's going to be a solid movie.
The cast and crew, I don't think was necessarily like screaming out to me as like a Best Picture movie. The director is, mostly known for a very highly acclaimed film called Blue Jean, but it's the writer's first screenplay I'm just not feeling too sure about this one. I think it's going to be good though. But
I think the only thing I have is like, wait, why are we remaking this?
right, that's the major thing. It's like we already have a good version of this. You know what I will say too, and I have to say this. I don't know where I thought that Focus Features purchased Wicker at Sundance. For some reason, I thought I read somewhere where it did. I was like with this misbelief for a long time. So I was like, I'm predicting Wicker in picture. That is not the case. It was picked up by Black Bear. This is an Olivia Colman film, by the way, that was screened at Sundance. Very whimsical, very charming. I remember Netflix paid something like $10 million for Train Dreams. And I think it would have been the perfect home for Focus Features to have picked this up, and it would have gotten it for a bargain price. So I think Wicker, personally, was a possible contender that I don't think people were taking very seriously, or as serious as they should have. But anyways, that's just a little side note.
So if you worked for one of these productions,
Yeah, if I worked for Focus, I would definitely purchase Wicker.
and then you'd make the push to be your Oscar contender
Definitely.
for your Oscar horse.
Because I know this would have probably done pretty well at BAFTA.
Anybody out there who works for any of these productions, you need to hire him. I've known.
I would have lost some money on Wuthering Heights, probably. I would have been like, that's a contender. But what do you think? Should we add Sense and Sensibility to the list?
In terms of Oscar taste, does it feel more likely, do you think, than Disclosure Day or End of Oak Street?
Yeah, based on like the genre itself, I would put it above Disclosure Day. And even though I just mentioned genre, but I wouldn't put it above Werewolf just because of that momentum of Robert
Okay.
Edgers.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
All right. And so where do we want to put Paul Greengrass's medieval movie, The Uprising? This could be one that we're underestimating as well.
be.
We never know when a Paul Greengrass film is going to hit. Andrew Garfield plays a farmer who leads a rebellion against the crown. Garfield is really great in these sort of like Hacksaw Ridge, The Silence roles. I mean, he's great in everything, but especially.
It's hard to know with this director. At best, I could see this maybe being like The Last Duel, but I couldn't put it in the top 15, but I could put it on the other contenders list somewhere. Is that fine with you?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to A24's slate. Well, we don't have Ruben Ostlund's film on our list. I don't even think it's coming out personally. I didn't go to Cannes. He always goes to Cannes, so I don't think so.
We have The Invite at 10, and we were debating between The Invite and this next film, actually, from A24, because they would both meet our A24 slot, and that's Jesse Eisenberg's new film, currently untitled, possibly called No One Cares.
I care. I care deeply about this one. It sounds really perfect on paper, but it did test screen. I've heard a wide range of things about this film. I've heard it's much more If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, and even Beau is Afraid than his last film. It's reportedly described as being Woody Allen's Black Swan. And when I take all those elements together, I'm like, this kind of sounds kind of Birdman-y to me.
It's got your favorite actor in it, too, Paul Giamatti.
Yes, he plays a theater director.
And Julianne Moore plays a shy woman cast in a local musical theater production. We've got the cinematographer from Drew Daniels. We've ultimately heard very mixed things about this film.
Yeah, the film was finished filming since May of last year, so it could have easily gone to Sundance, I would imagine, if it wanted to. So maybe it will follow like a Black Swan strategy, premiere at Venice. I'm not really sure. I've gotten word that this is not your typical Oscar film, but at the same time, you know, I could totally see someone saying that about Birdman or about Black Swan prior to all the accolades, that it's not your typical Oscar film. Well, that's right. So I don't know. I feel pretty strongly about this. I kind of like want to put it at number 11, right?
Yeah, I think so, because who knows?
I mean, also, it seems a bit more like Real Pain didn't make it in, but this does feel very much more ambitious in what it's trying to do.
It was also, but Real Pain was also like very much on the table.
Yeah, oh no, it was like number 11 or number 11 probably.
Yes.
And also, it's technically supposed to be a musical, but from what I heard, that there is not actually a lot of music in it. It's not like, you know, like people are going to jump out in numbers. They're doing a musical in the movie. It's going to be like Birdman, I think, but the movie that's on stage is a musical.
Okay.
That's what I think.
There's also Tony, the biopic about Anthony Bourdain from the Blackberry director Matt Johnson. I'm looking forward to this, actually. The same cinematographer as One Battle After Another. It looks like the writer's first screenplay, if I'm not mistaken, and it is with A24, so I feel like it must be good, right?
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked strong. I could see like an Antonio Banderas supporting actor push. but making it to the Oscars feels a little bit like a stretch for me. I'll put it pretty high on the other contenders list.
You do love your Antonio Banderas.
So we have Chris Rock's Mr. Green. I love Chris Rock. I do, but I don't see it. A24 went into a bidding war for top 5. They wanted to, I think, avoid a bidding war for this movie, so they funded it early on. I think that's what's happened. So it's being distributed by A24, but I just don't believe it's going to be an Oscar contender. There's also Prime Time, which has Robert Pattinson in it. He plays like a very Chris Hansen-y To Catch a Predator journalist. That sounds kind of good. But just based on the writer and director, I don't see this one either, to be completely honest.
I have more faith in Edward Berger's new film with Brad Pitt called The Writers, to be honest. We currently don't have it on the list because I think they started filming in February of this year. So it might not even be ready for TIFF, to be honest.
Yeah, it might not even be an awards player. It's about an Australian man who travels back home to look for his wife who has disappeared. It's a psychological thriller. It's written by David Kujanik, who wrote some of the scripts for Luca Guadagnino, Suspiria, and Bones and All. Based on the book, though, it does have a 3.6 on Goodreads, but there's no guarantee that's even going to come out. So
We'll just add those in the additional contenders list.
okay, that sounds good. We don't have an Apple contenders on our list. So shall we consider Being Human, director of Coda, based on the true story of a disability rights activist, Jody Human. She leads a historic 28-day occupation on San Francisco's federal building. It stars an actress with a disability. It could be a very nice TIFF premiere, maybe a possible TIFF Audience Choice winner.
Yeah, I think it sounds very inspiring, and if there's anyone you're going to trust with working with real actors with disabilities, it would be them, right?
It sounds to me like a Disney version of Milk or something like that.
It's difficult to strike lightning in a bottle twice, though, especially when it comes, I think, to these kind of, like you said, Disney-esque heartwarmer type movies. I think people are going to be coming in with really high expectations.
Coming off of Coda?
Yeah, coming off of Coda. Yeah, I feel like it would have to be significantly better. But, I say let's put it on the list, but maybe not top 15.
Okay. All right, Fox Searchlight, we have...
Behemoth.
Yes. You haven't seen Michael Clayton yet, right?
No.
Okay, well, it's a very good movie. It's same director, Tony Gilroy. It's a story about a cellist who moves back to Los Angeles and decides to make music for movies. Very vague, right?
Yeah, there's not a lot
being said there.
Yeah.
The director typically does very espionage action or boardroom thrillers. It has Pedro Pascal, Will Arnett, Eva Victor, Olivia Wilde. Gilroy has described the film as a love letter to the music of the movies and the people who make it. Oh, isn't that cute? I heard there's going to be 7 to 9 rotating composers with this film. It's kind of a random thing to do.
Ambitious.
Yes. So what do you think? What do you think about this film?
It sounds a little bit kind of like Jay Kelly, like the Jay Kelly of this year.
Yeah, meets Maestro.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a little too many unknowns with this film, but Tony Gilroy directing something like this, I think does excite me. I think it does sound pretty good. I think this could be good. And a Venice premiere sounds like it's very much in the cards for this movie.
All right, so Amazon MGM, they have a film called I Play Rocky by Peter Farrelly, and that's
That's your favorite director of all time.
It's just a no, right?
Yeah, no, probably not. Since Green Book, Farrelly really hasn't shown enough of ability to really do it again with the Oscars. MGM's Artificial sounded interesting, but that Luca movie was moved to next year. Do you want to put I Play Rocky very low on the others contenders list?
Sure.
Okay. All right, let's wrap this video up by talking about Neon and Movie. Then that will naturally lead us to talk about other contenders without distribution currently, and also the can picks. But we aren't going to talk about all of them, but Yvette, what do we got?
Well, we have All of a Sudden. This is by Hamaguchi, the director of Drive My Car. This is going to premiere at Cannes, and this is something we really need to put on the list. We have to talk about this. He's making his French language debut, 3 hours and 16 minutes long. It's about a bond between a terminally ill Japanese playwright and a French nursing student. Drive My Car was about a theater director.
Yeah, it sounds like this is Hamaguchi's version of Room Next Door. Similar setup. Definitely seems more in line with Drive My Car than his last film. Most definitely a contender for the Palm, I would say. He already has a Best Director nomination and Screenplay in addition to a Best Picture nomination. So we really should probably put this pretty high.
I'm willing to put it as high as you want. Also, good luck at Cannes. You better get some good sleep. 3 hours and 16
That's
minutes.
nothing. One day I saw Che, part 1 and part 2, same day, same sitting.
How many hours total?
Many hours. It was like a 5-hour experience.
And you didn't need to like get up and stretch your legs?
To tell you the truth, they had an intermission.
Oh, okay.
I want to put it at 12.
Okay.
I think this very much could happen. So yeah, number 12 it is.
Let's do it.
All right, there's also Na Hong Jin's Hope. We just saw his last film, The Wailing. We've never seen his work before.
That's creepy.
Yeah, really out there, but pretty awesome movie. Hope is a science fiction thriller that is in competition at Cannes. Apparently, this will be a prestige genre picture that blends action and horror. We got the DP from Parasite on this.
Ooh.
Apparently, a very high-budgeted alien invasion disaster movie. Next Best Picture reported on the footage shown at CinemaCon, saying it looks huge with stunning special effects and plenty of spectacle.
Park Chan-wook is the president of this year's jury.
Yes.
This also sounds really promising, I think.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Park Chan, another genre guy on the board,
Yes.
as the president of the board.
Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander are in it as well, so that's a positive. It's tough to predict who's going to win the Palme d'Or.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And if it doesn't, then it's just like a very artful, incredible, but
Yeah.
ultimately an international genre flick.
Like No Other Choice.
Yes, and what we saw happen in No Other Choice last year,
It was devastating.
it was. So what do you want to do? Let's put it right above Spielberg's sci-fi movie, because I think this one is probably more
Okay.
hopeful. And we have another neon film from the filmmaker of Fair Game.
Yes, A Place in Hell. This will be another psychological thriller with Michelle Williams as a defense attorney whose ambitions are threatened by a younger lawyer played by Daisy Edgar Jones. This is what Daniel Hewitt reports from CinemaCon when they were showed the trailer there. This trailer looked twisty and dark with plenty of fun mixed in. This certainly seems like it could break into the awards race if Neon plays its cards right.
I might be biased because I liked Fair Play. I thought, though, it got kind of ridiculous as the film went on. So I think I could see this be like kind of the same trajectory as Baby Girl. Remember that movie with Nicole Kidman? Like it premieres at Venice, goes to TIFF, comes out on Christmas. It's well received, but maybe doesn't end up getting awards attention. So I'm willing to put it like right around Bohemian, because it is Michelle Williams at the end of the day. So let me actually check her filmography. Yeah, it's just The Fabelmans and Manchester by the Sea in the last 10 years. Only 2 of her films got in. So I'm willing to put on the other contenders list.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Another neon film is Paper Tiger, directed by James Gray. 2 brothers, I believe Adam Driver and Miles Teller, get entangled in a dangerous Russian mafia scheme that terrorizes their family.
Yeah, this one sounds really interesting. James Gray hasn't made a film that suits the Academy, but this film is in competition at Cannes. Rumors are swirling that the producer of this film, and he would say that, said that this is James Gray's best movie ever. Scarlett Johansson and Driver apparently give career best work.
This could be James Gray's year, so I don't know. Let's go above Saturn Return.
Okay. All right, another neon film to mention is Clarissa. This is going to be at the Director's Fortnight section at Cannes. It's a modern-day reimagining of the 1925 novel Mrs. Dalloway, apparently shot in 35mm, directed by Nigerian twins, making their directorial debut. It's premiering at Cannes, and Neon's acquisition, I think, hints towards this being potentially a breakout film. So I think it's worth throwing on the list somewhere. All right, let's talk about a big contender, one that we really need to consider. We haven't discussed it yet because there's no currently distributor as of now. This is a big one, though. Tom Ford's Cry to Heaven. Set in 18th century Venice, Venetian noble and castrated singer from Calabria both try to succeed in the world of opera. What do we think?
This just wrapped over a month ago. I mean, you could assume he's aiming for a Venice premiere. I mean, specifically because it's set in Venice, that would be perfect. Also, his last 2 films premiered there as well. So, I mean, I think that's what's going to end up happening, probably.
Same cinematographer as The Substance. Has a good Goodreads score on the novel. It's based on a novel. It's got 3.8 Goodreads score.
It has a lot of potential.
Yeah. really the only reason it's not in our top 10 right now isn't so much the lack of distributor. There's just no guarantee when this film's going to come out.
Yeah.
Nocturnal Animals and Single Man wrapped in December. And I think this just wrapped in March. So it's a little 3 months behind his usual schedule. Also, Tom Ford movies, have made some appearance at the Oscars, all of them, I think in a solo acting nomination each. But they have not cracked Best Picture, neither one of them.
Okay, but how well received were his previous films?
Nocturnal Animals got a 67 on Metacritic, and Single Man got a 77 on Meta.
And never nominated for director.
No. And that's another obstacle, because I don't think that the director branch will be quick to invite a fashion designer by day into their midst.
They are a little exclusive, aren't they, in the director branch?
Yes. But it sounds like an interesting story.
Yeah, there's no guarantee this movie is even going to come out this year, but I don't know. I'd put it at 16.
16, like after Sense and Sensibility. Okay, let's do it. All right, so we have a few more Cannes movies and then we're done. Lucas, Don't Coward. We have The Beloved with Javier Bardem. We should probably consider Farhadi with Parallel Tales. The story follows Isabelle Huppert, I believe, as a writer who observes neighbors across the street. This is Farhadi's first French film, though, so I think that becomes a little bit of a challenge for it.
Other contenders list. I'm sure whatever emerges at Cannes is going to become, big contenders, but we won't know until you come back.
That's true.
What are some other real possibilities right now?
Just a few more. We have Prima Facie. It's an upcoming British drama starring Cynthia Erivo. It's based on a play. It's about a defense attorney whose faith in the justice system is shaken when she herself becomes a victim of sexual assault. So the director and the writer are just really the only thing that doesn't give me a ton of faith on this, because obviously Erivo does know how to emote emotion. The directors are very wet behind the ears.
Yeah.
Okay. We have Wildwood from Laika. The footage of this looks breathtaking. It looks really great. I don't expect this will be a Best Picture nomination because it's so rare to see an animated film crack the Best Picture lineup. But there is a world where, it's a long overdue conversation to recognize that kind of impressive stop motion films. And maybe that starts this year. So I think that is one we should consider. And then if there's going to be a Sinners breakout too, maybe Is God Is. But this is a directorial debut and the reactions thus far have been really solid, but it's hard to get a real temperature read on this. I think it'll be well received, but maybe not polished enough to make it to the main stage. So I am seeing positive mentions on this film, so that is worth mentioning. The Entertainment Systems Down, I think we talked about that one. I believe all of Ruben Östlund's films, at least the last 5 of them, have premiered at Cannes, so I think we can assume he's going to wait until next year. And then lastly, we just have Josephine.
Yeah, we talked about that already, but I guess we have to put it on the list for at least the winning Sundance.
Yeah.
Even though the distributor is tiny, it's still won Sundance, so it's still should be considered a contender. Well, there you have it. That was long. Towards the end, I was like, oh my goodness.
She was hitting a wall.
I was hitting a wall. I'm out of it.
She's gone.
I've checked out.
I'll do it for you. Well, there you have it, everyone. If you think there's any films that Yvette or I are wildly underestimating, let us know in the comments section below. And stay tuned for upcoming Cannes reviews where hopefully I'll be watching Fjord and Hope and Fatherland and All of a Sudden and whatever I can get tickets for.
He'll have a lot more insight once he gets back from Cannes. True. Thanks, as always, for watching. And until next time, we'll see you at the Oscars.
We have to do another video.
I have to pee so bad.
We have to do one more video.
Can I pee at least, please? Holding me hostage.
No, you can go pee. Just go grab the bucket that I put there for you.
Stop.